Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'll show you how to install Immich on OpenMediaVault. We're running this on just 2 GB of RAM, so I'll show you the exact steps to keep it stable and fast. Let's get started. First, let's head over to the Proxmox web UI to confirm our system specs. As you can see, we're working with only 2 GB of RAM. Also, take note of the OMV IP address here, as we'll need it to access our server in the next step. Now we will access OMV's terminal. I highly recommend using SSH instead of the built-in Proxmox console. The web console doesn't support copy and paste, which makes entering long commands or configurations very inconvenient. I will use PuTTY here. Just enter the IP address, select SSH as connection type, then hit open and you're good to go. Log in using your OMV root account. First, we'll run some basic updates to ensure your server is running the latest version and has all the necessary security patches. Now, to get Docker up and running on OMV, you'll need to install the OMV-Extras package first. This is a powerful extension that unlocks advanced features like Docker and Compose management directly from the web interface. Just copy and run this command, then sit back and wait for the installation to finish. I will make this quick. Okay, we're all set with the terminal. Next, let's head over to the OMV web interface and log in with your admin account. First, make sure to apply all pending configuration changes to ensure your settings are active. Then, we'll head over to the plugins section to verify if OMV-Extras was installed correctly. In the plugins section, search for Docker, then find and install the Compose plugin. This will give us the essential tools to manage our containers easily through the web interface. Okay, the plugin is now installed, but before we move on, don't forget to apply the changes at the top. On OpenMediaVault, your settings won't take effect until you hit that yellow checkmark. Now, under the Services section, select Compose. Then go to Settings. Take a look at the Docker info. It should say Installed and Running. This confirms that our backend is ready for action. For Docker, shared folders are absolutely essential. You'll need them to store everything from configuration files to your actual data. This ensures your setups are organized and easy to back up. A quick but vital reminder: make sure you create these folders on your large storage drive, not the boot system. If you accidentally put them on your boot drive, it will fill up almost instantly and crash your entire server. Always double-check your mount points before moving forward. Now, let's head over to the shared folders section. First, we'll create our parent folder and name it Docker. And I can't stress this enough: double-check your file system selection. Make sure you are selecting your large storage drive, not the small OS boot drive, to avoid any system crashes later on. Hit save and we move to the next one. Next, for the databases and application data, we'll create the app data folder. Since this will be a child of our main Docker folder, remember to adjust the relative path accordingly. Keeping your data nested like this makes your entire system much easier to manage. The next one is Docker Files. This is where we'll store all our Docker Compose YAML files and scripts. Once again, make sure to adjust the relative path so it stays organized within our main Docker directory. Hit Save button, and we will move to the last one. Let's call this Docker Storage. This is a critical one, as it will hold all your Docker root data, including images, containers, and layers. By dedicating this folder on our large drive, we ensure the system stays fast and our small boot drive never runs out of space. Okay, now that our shared folders are created, let's set them up as SMB shares. This allows us to access everything directly from our PC, making it much easier to manage files and scripts without having to touch the terminal every time. For simplicity in this tutorial, I'll allow guest access. However, in a production environment, you should definitely adjust the access control list based on your own security needs. Once you finish the setup, don't forget to click the yellow check mark at the top. This will save and apply all your pending configuration changes, making sure your new SMB shares are officially live. Now for the most critical part. By default, Docker's root data is stored on your boot system. If we leave it there, your small drive will fill up and crash in no time. So we need to move it to the new shared folders we just created on our large storage drive. First, let's head back to the terminal to create a new directory inside our Docker folder. We'll call it libdocker. Just a heads up, in OMV, your shared folders are located inside the SRV directory, followed by a unique folder named after your disk's UUID. In the next step, we need to modify the data root key inside the daemon.json file to point to our new location. This file is located in /etc/docker. But before we make any changes, we must stop the Docker service to prevent any data corruption or errors. Let's check one more time to confirm the service has stopped. In system administration, it's always better to double-check before modifying core configuration files. Okay, we're good to go. Use any text editor you prefer. I'll be using Nano for this. We're going to modify the data root key to point exactly to our new location on the storage drive. In my case, the path looks like this. But remember, your UUID will be different. Always double-check your own path carefully, because even a single missing character here will prevent Docker from starting up. While we're in here, you can also modify the max size and max file retention settings for your logs. This is a great way to prevent log files from eating up your disk space over time. Again, adjust these values to depend on your specific needs. Now that we've updated the configuration, we need to reload the daemon and start the Docker service. This ensures that Docker recognizes our new settings and begins using the new storage location. Once again, don't forget to check. We need to make sure Docker has fully recognized the new configuration. A quick verification now can save you from a lot of troubleshooting headaches later on. Okay, the configuration is updated and confirmed. Now, let's go back to the OMV web interface. We need to perform a few final tweaks there to make sure everything is perfectly synced with our new setup. From the Services section, select Compose, then head over to Settings. For the Compose files path, we're going to select our Docker files shared folder. This tells OMV exactly where to look for our deployment scripts. For the data path, we're going to select the Docker storage folder we created earlier. By pointing this here, we ensure that all the heavy lifting and data storage happen on our large drive, keeping the system stable and efficient. And here's a pro tip. Don't forget to remove the Docker storage line in this menu. By leaving it blank, we force Docker to use our custom daemon.json file that we configured earlier in the terminal. This ensures there are no conflicts, and our manual settings take full priority. Apply changes after you're done. Next, we move to a truly critical part. Since our system only has 2 GB of RAM, it simply won't be enough for Immich without some serious tweaks. First things first, we must enable swap. This acts as a safety net, ensuring your server doesn't freeze or crash when Immich starts indexing and syncing your photos. Use these commands to enable swap on your system. You can adjust the size to fit your needs, but for a smooth experience with Immich, I strongly recommend at least 4 GB. This extra breathing room is what keeps our 2 GB RAM system stable. You can check again by using free command. Now it's time to create the Docker Compose file. Think of this as the heart of our setup. It contains all the instructions and configurations needed to bring our Immich server to life. Let's give our stack a name. We'll go with Immich and add a simple description so we can easily identify it later. Keeping things labeled correctly is a small habit that makes managing a Homelab much easier as it grows. Now for the file content. To make it easy for you, I'll leave the full Docker Compose script in the video description below. Don't forget to check it out, copy it, and get ready for the next step. The environment file follows the same process. Just one very important rule. Remember to change your database password. Never leave it as default, especially when we're building a secure home server. Hit save when you're done. Now, let's up our Compose file and wait for the magic to happen. Docker will now start pulling all the necessary images and building our Immich services. This might take a few minutes depending on your internet speed, so just sit back and relax. Finally, everything is up and running perfectly. Now for the exciting part. Just head over to your OMV server's IP address, followed by port 2283. And here we go. Welcome to your very own Immich dashboard. Just fill in some basic information here, like your admin account and password, and we're ready to test. Our self-hosted photo server is officially open for business. After you've logged in, just follow the prompts to finish the initial setup. Don't stress too much about the details right now, because you can always change these settings later in the administration panel. Now, for the final configuration to ensure Immich runs smoothly on our hardware. Click on your avatar, select Administration, and find the Job Settings section. You must lower these values, otherwise your system will freeze under the heavy load. A simple but effective rule is lower all job concurrency to 1, then gradually increase them one by one until you find the sweet spot for your server. The next one is the storage template. By default, Immich saves your data using hashed folder names, which makes it nearly impossible to browse your files manually. Instead, you can enable the storage template engine. This allows Immich to automatically organize and sort your files into a clean, human-readable structure based on your own template. Remember to hit save after you modify any settings. Okay, now for the testing phase. I've already installed Immich on my phone. First, let's add our server. Simply enter your OMV IP address, followed by port 2283, exactly the same as what we used for the web version. Now, just log in with the admin email and password you created earlier. Once you're in, your phone and server will be officially linked, and you can start managing your library right from your pocket. Now let's add an album and test the syncing process. This will confirm that our mobile app, the OMV server, and our large storage drive are all communicating perfectly. If the photo shows up here, our setup is a complete success. Well, it seems everything is working fine for now. As you can see, with just a few strategic tweaks, we've successfully transformed a modest system with only 2 GB of RAM and an 8 GB OS drive into a fully functional Immich server. By offloading the data to a larger drive and optimizing the job settings, we've ensured that our system remains stable and responsive. If you found these tips helpful for your Homelab journey, please give this video a like and subscribe to Tech Tips by Pete for more deep dives into system administration and networking. If you have any questions or run into any issues during the setup, feel free to drop a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.